Hello, everyone. Hello, my lovely people. I miss talking to you. I was so entrapped in all the things and my own emotions and feelings, and I want this podcast to be always coming from passionate need and want of actually recording. So I'm really looking at all the other people who are doing their podcast with because and they are sometimes recording podcasts like 2 or 3 times a week, and I don't know, and I wish I was like that. I hope I will be like that at some point, and because now it's just like having this vulnerable conversation is really it takes some time, it takes some internal work, I would say, because I really would like this to come from me, and like I said, to come from this need of wanting to share and being myself, and for this to be really vulnerable, real, and something that I actually want to do rather than have to do because it's this time of week and I have said I'm going to do it, to record 3 times a week. When I was thinking about my themes for what I would like to record, my first theme was about nature. It's just because it plays such an important part in my life. But I think what's really speaking to me now, it's anger. So I think I'll make this episode on anger. And this is a feeling that I have been familiar with since I remember when I was a child. I remember being angry a lot, and the anger is in me. It comes in a very kind of visible way. I am quite an open book anyway. I think I am really easily to be I am displaying my emotion kind of in a very physical way. So for example, when I used to get really red when I was ashamed, or when I not really ashamed, but like shy, but ashamed also. So shy, ashamed, and then when I had to like speak in front of the crowd, in front of the classroom in my primary school, and also in secondary school and in college. I think I was better in at university, and I think better at work as well. But even now, even though I don't really get read almost at all, I actually did a couple of weeks ago when I was speaking in front of some senior leaders in my organization, in the place I work at. So anger comes for me in the same very visible way, very kind of bodily way. So I can get really red. My body starts tingling. Sometimes I hear like buzzing in the head, and of course it comes with tears very often. And I think is actually a very good way to release the anger, to actually let it flow through you. So for example, what I have done after one of the very uncomfortable conversations I had with one of my family members, where it was my mom, who am I kidding? After this conversation with my mom, when she was repeatedly, I think her questions that always come up are about the vaccination, if I had done it, and I didn't really want to take it. So I was really upset when she continuously was asking me. It's just because me and my mom, we live in different realities. So but anyway, that's just a different topic of family connections and kind of relationships. So one day when I had a very kind of nervous conversation with her, when I got off the phone, I actually screamed or shouted. I had to let this emotion come out of my body. I really scared my cats, by the way, because I got off the phone and I put my phone down on the sofa and I just stepped kind of inside the kitchen, but I didn't really hide because there was no time. That's how urgent it was for me to release and to let this go. So the scream just came out of me, and it was like a howl. It was like it was like a shout. It was very primal, I say, very animalistic. And that was the best way for me at that moment to get rid of that and to deal with this emotion. And also after there was some crying. So what I see at the moment, it's like a storm, you know. It's got this apogeum of storm when everything is kind of coming up, and then you have a lightning, and then kind of everything releases. It's very, very natural. And one thing that comes to my mind also is that we are in the society that we live in, and through religion and culture, we have been programmed to be ashamed of kind of showing this emotion, like anger, like that. Anger is shameful. It's also sometimes even within the spiritual maybe, you know, community, it's something that you should not be seen with, right? Anger is not good emotion. Anger is not something that should be displayed. Of course, I think it's a very personal thing, and the way you display it, probably I'd say it's if you have a possibility and you need to shout, the best way is to shout in a pillow in your own bedroom behind the closed doors. But it goes to you even being ashamed of it in front of yourself, and I am the same, and I was always trying to suppress this anger. And even this morning I got a text message from my friend, and it was just complaining. I am, by the way, going through a very big kind of refurbishment, for cannot think of a better word, with friends. I am losing friends left, right and center. I think it's just because of my awakening. I can't think of any other reason why it's happening, but again, that's for a different podcast. So this morning I have received a message, text message from my friend. It was a message that I found really, really aggravating. It wasn't anything about me. It was about her situation, that I was trying to help her for a long time, and she's running a little bit like this hamster wheel, over and over again, through over and over the same things. And I don't know what else to do. So this message really aggravated me and made me angry, and the way it came out that time was swearing. So I mean, I was obviously by myself at home, and my cats don't understand swearing. So but I kind of then was scolding myself. I was a bit unhappy with myself of why I was swearing, as I do swear, but I don't swear, if you know what I mean. It's not something that I'll go to and like use it in my language. I really appreciate language, so swearing for me is not something that I would use like often, but when there is a really situation when I get really angry, that's when I use swearing. And I think it's definitely, now when I think about it, it's definitely kind of like an outlet. Another way to show anger is obviously through crying, and that's what I've been using a lot when I was younger, especially in my teenage years. That was this angry cry and kind of beating a pillow or even like smashing a wall. These are the emotions that have to come out from you. So whatever you do, do not kind of push them and squeeze them away. Obviously it's I'm sure I don't have to tell you, the awareness is the key in that. You are doing this, you are letting those emotions go, you are digesting them. It's like a natural flow, but in the same time you are well aware that these emotions are going through you. You are well aware of your behaviors and how these behaviors may or may not affect the others, and obviously never ever take it on people. And if you do, because again, we are humans and I am not here to judge anyone, and I have done this with my daughter also when I had like a perhaps worse day, I have taken it on her. The awareness is the key. So whenever you are aware that that's happening and that you may have taken it on someone else, obviously, you know, do whatever it takes to make the situation better. But also in the midst of the anger tantrum, I call it, for no better word for it, again, be like a eye of the hurricane. So it's almost as if you're letting it go, but in the middle, in your very, very middle, in your core, you are observing it, you are aware, you know it's gonna pass, you know you are going to come to your middle, to your calmness, and you know it's not gonna last forever. So even if you are if this awareness is just tiny, if it's there, that's your anchor. This is the point, you know, you can come back to. And the last kind of example I wanted to share was that I have recently done a breathwork session. I am doing this with the lady called Jo, and it's amazing. She's always playing the most amazing music. It's basically the simple breath, one in your tummy, one in your chest, and then let it go, and you do it for kind of half an hour with your mouth open. It sounds very easy, but it really brings up all sorts of emotions in you. And then at the end, sort of towards the end of this breathing session, you then kind of, you are encouraged by Jo to you know, do a different voices. So it can be like I said, very animalistic. It can be laughing, it can be crying, and sometimes you cannot even control it. The last session we did was on grief, but actually the emotion that came out of me was this sadness, grief also, but kind of connected to anger also. And I did let it go so much, and I'm so sorry about the noise. I left my window open, and I have a very busy street outside, so I don't know about the quality of this podcast, but oh well, I'll think about it next time. So after this session, it was like catharsis. So you know, it's almost like being like almost like death and then being born again. That's how intense it was for me. And yes, this we discussed the crying and the howling and the all the bodily function that kind of assist the anger and the outbursts, and how we are made to be ashamed of them in front of ourselves, and not even mentioned to in front of of us. And even simple crying, when you say to your child when they're angry, you say, calm down, don't cry. This is just something that we say, and that's it. Instead of, saying, I understand, if you need to, you cry. If you need to, have this tantrum. It's something that is in you and it needs to come out. If you need to hit the pillow, hit the pillow. It's for us parents is to make sure that the child and everyone around them, also when we are older, are safe. Other than that, if this is the way the body needs to react, then that's fine. If that sometimes is seen as a bit volatile or different, that's fine also. When you see, for example, the cat, when the cat sees something that they're scared of, or when they're angry, what do? They show it with their body. When they're angry, they show their teeth, the hair stand up, the tail stands up, they can shake, they can make a really, obviously, these animalistic voices. And this all helps them also release some tension, I guess, or build this tension. So then this tension can get released after. So these are very needed function and releasing of emotion that we shouldn't really repress, as long as we are aware. So the awareness, like I said, needs to be there also. So thank you so much for this episode, and thank you for listening. Whoever you are, I hope it helps, and please reach out if you need anything from me, or even to chat. I'll be happy to. Thank you so much. Goodbye.